Hi, this is Mato. In this video I will show you a game between Leinier Perez and Aleksandr Lenderman. This is a game from the United States Championship 2019. Perez had white pieces and he started with e4. Lenderman played c5, the Sicilian defense. Knight to f3, e6, d4. C takes on d4, knight takes on d4, knight to f6. Knight to c3, knight to c6, and from d to b5, threatening to jump to d6. Black to move. Bishop to b4 was played. d6 is the most played move. Bishop to b4. And now a3 asking a question. Bishop takes on c3 check. Knight takes on c3. White has a bishop pair and no doublet pawns on the c file. d5, e takes on d5, e takes on d5, bishop to d3, and both players castled kingside. d4, knight to e2, bishop to g4, pinning the knight, bishop to g5, pinning the black knight. Asking a question, bishop to h4, bishop takes on e2, queen takes on e2, rook to e8, queen to f3. There is a feeling that white is standing better, but black has this annoying move. Knight to e5, forking the queen and the bishop, and giving up the pawn on b7. Queen takes on b7, knight takes on d3. If rook to b8, queen takes on a7. Knight takes on d3, c takes on d3, and now queen to d5, a pawn down. Lenderman wants to exchange queens. He is intending to invade the second rank and to have a compensation for a sacrifice pawn. Queen takes on d5, knight takes on d5, bishop to g3. How about rook to e1? Then rook takes rook, check. Rook takes rook, knight to f4. And if rook goes to d1, rook to c8. Back to our game. Bishop to g3 preventing knight to f4. Rook to e2, invasion on the 7th rank. Rook from a to b1. f5, threatening f4. Bishop to d6, rook to c8. Intending rook from c to c2. White to move. What would you do in this position if you had white pieces? Perez played the best move, rook from f to e1. If rook from f to c1, rook takes rook check, rook takes rook, rook takes on b2. Back to our game. Rook from f to e1, rook takes rook check. If rook from c to c2, rook takes on e2, rook takes on e2, bishop to c5, intending bishop takes on d4. Rook takes rook check. Rook takes rook, rook to c2, rook to b1, rook to d2, bishop to e5, rook takes on d3. And material is equal, but black will have a trouble saving the pawn on d file. The game continued. King to f1, king to f7, king to e2. Black to move. What is the best square for the rook? What would you do? If rook goes to b3, bishop takes on d4. Lenderman played rook takes on a3. B takes on a3. Knight to c3 check. King to d3. Knight takes rook. a4. Knight to c3. If knight to a3, then bishop to d4. And white would win the knight. For example, a6. Bishop to b2, knight to b1, king to c2. Back to our game. Knight to c3, a5, knight to b5, bishop takes on d4, g5. If knight takes on d4, then white is better. One line goes like this. King takes on d4, king to e6, king to c5, king to d7, h4, h5, f4, king to c7, king to d5, king to b7, king to e5, king to a6, king takes pawn on f5, king takes pawn on a5, king to g6, king to b5, king takes on g7, a5, f5, a4, f6, a3, f7, a2, queen and queen. King to g6. White should be winning. Back to our game. g5. Bishop to b2, king to e6, king to c4, knight to d6, check. King to c5, knight to b7, check. King to b5, king to d5, king to a6. And now knight takes on a5. If king to c6, bishop to d4. Knight takes on a5, king takes on a5, king to e4. Hoping to exchange his 3 pawns for 3 white pawns. Will it work? Let's see. Bishop to c1, f4. And now, very good move from Perez. h4, king to d3. If g takes on h4, then check. And after king to d4, bishop takes on f4. If king goes to e5, then bishop to b2, check, king to f5, king to a6, and white is easily winning. Back to our game. King to d3, intending king to e2. H takes on g5, h takes on g5, and now g3. King to e4, intending king to f3. Let's take it back. If f takes on g3, f takes on g3, g4, bishop to f4, white is winning. King to e4, intending king to f3. Pawn takes pawn on f4. Pawn takes pawn on f4. White to move. How would you continue now? Perez played bishop to a3. King to d5. If king goes to f3, then bishop to c5. King to d5. White played a move and black resigned, and the move is king to a6, Lenderman designed. If king goes to e4, king takes on a7, king to f3, bishop to c5. The white king would come back to win the black pawn on f4 and to help his pawn to get to f8 square. What do you think of this game? Thank you for watching and bye for now.